My name is Naomi. I am 28 years old. 3 days after I gave birth alone, I was still bleeding, my newborn son asleep on my chest. My father looked me straight in the eyes and said, "When you recover, go back to your in-laws. We don't want you here." My mother folded her arms and added, "You're not our responsibility anymore. You never really were." My husband, Caleb, had died in a fire just days before. I had no home, no strength, no one. I didn't cry. I didn't beg. I stayed quiet. They thought I had nothing left, but I had already made one call. And when that man walked into my hospital room 2 days later with a detective beside him, my father's face lost all color. If you enjoy deep, emotional stories like this, take a second to like and subscribe. It helps more than you know. I remembered the sound first. Heavy footsteps in the hallway. Room 3B had thin walls. I had learned every sound. The nurses, the doctors, the quiet visitors. These steps were different.
Slow.
Heavy.
Certain.
The door opened. My father walked in like he owned the room. He didn't smile.
Didn't ask how I felt.
He just looked around. My mother followed him, holding a folder. No flowers. No gift. Just papers. She placed it on my lap. "When are they discharging you?" my father asked. Not, "How are you?" Not, "Can I hold him?" Just business. I shifted my baby, Noah, closer. My hand shook. "Maybe December 1st, I whispered. My mother stepped back, avoiding my son's face. "We need to talk about what happens next," my father said. Something inside me tightened. "Aren't you going to meet him?" I asked softly. Neither of them looked at Noah. "Caleb's parents should handle this," my father said. "Handle what?" I asked. "You," he replied, like I was a problem. "You can't come home with us," he continued. "We're not prepared for a baby." My mother nodded. "You're an adult. Figure it out." The words hit hard. I stared at Noah's tiny face. "You're saying this now?" I whispered. "When you recover," my father said, cutting me off, "go back to your in-laws. We don't want you here." The room went silent. Then my mother opened the folder. "Sign here," she said, pointing at the papers. No warmth, no care, just signatures. They stayed for 11 minutes. I checked later. 11 minutes to remove me from their lives. After they left, I sat still. My body hurt. My mind raced. Something felt wrong. The folder sat on my lap for hours before I opened it again. Insurance forms. But something was missing. I remembered September. The day my father came to our house with his old briefcase. He said we needed insurance. Big insurance. $825,000, he insisted. Caleb hesitated.
"That's a lot," he said.
"Do you care about my daughter's future or not?" my father asked. Caleb gave in.
"Because he loved me."
Because he trusted my family. And I trusted them too. That was my mistake. I found the envelope Caleb had kept. He had labeled it important. Inside was the full insurance policy. I compared it with the one my parents brought. Page 3 was missing. My heart dropped. That page explained rights, options,
Control.
They didn't want me to see it. I kept reading. The beneficiary was me. But below that, if I declined the payout, the money would go to my parents. Half and half. I froze. Then I checked the dates. The policy started September 15th. Caleb died November 18th. 9 weeks later. I felt sick. This wasn't random. This wasn't bad luck. This was planned. I opened Caleb's phone. I couldn't delete his messages. I read them instead. The night before the fire. My father texted me. "Are you home?" I said I was still at the hospital. Then he texted Caleb. "Naomi is staying overnight. You okay alone?" Caleb replied. "Yeah. Working late. Done by 2. The fire started at 2:06 a.m. My hands shook. Then I found a photo Caleb had taken. My father's briefcase. Inside, a note. "Accelerant coverage." My stomach turned. If you're still here, drop a comment. Tell me what you think is going on. Because I was starting to understand. The timeline formed in my mind. Insurance.
Pressure.
Texts. Fire.
Death.
My father arrived at the fire scene before emergency crews. That didn't make sense. He lived far away. Too far. I couldn't ignore it anymore. That night, I made the call. "Hello," the man answered. "Daniel," I said. "It's Naomi, Caleb's wife." There was a pause. "I'm glad you called," he said. "Something isn't right about that fire." My chest tightened. "My father was there early," I said. Daniel exhaled slowly. "I know. That was when everything changed." I told him everything. The insurance, the texts, the missing page, the note. He listened quietly. "Don't sign anything," he said. "I won't. I'm coming tomorrow. With a detective." I didn't sleep that night. Noah woke every few hours. My body ached. My mind wouldn't stop. I checked everything again. Every message. Every detail. I took photos. Saved everything. By morning, I knew one thing. My father thought I was weak. He thought I wouldn't question him. He thought I would sign. He was wrong. They came in the afternoon. Daniel walked in first. Behind him was a woman. "Detective Harper," she said. The word detective made everything real. "This is now a criminal case," Daniel said. I nodded. They showed me photos. Burn patterns. 3 points of origin. "That's not an accident," Daniel said. "They found accelerant. Paint thinner. Caleb never used that." "Where did it come from?" I asked. Detective Harper placed a receipt on the table. "Hardware store. 2 days before the fire. Buyer, my father." The room felt cold. "We have proof," Harper said. "Security footage confirms it." My chest felt tight. "Why?" I whispered. Daniel looked at me. "Money," he said. They explained everything. The plan. The insurance. The control. If I had signed the papers, my father would control the money. Through my son. Everything connected. Everything made sense. And then, a knock on the door. 3 sharp knocks. The door opened. My father walked in. My mother behind him. And a man with a briefcase. My father froze. His eyes moved quickly. "Daniel." "Detective Harper." Then me. His face turned pale. "Naomi," he said, voice shaking. "We brought someone to help with paperwork." He tried to act normal. It didn't work. "Mr. Blake," Daniel said calmly. "We need to talk." My father stepped back. "We'll come back later," he said. "No," Harper said, stepping forward. "We need answers now." My mother looked confused. "What is this?" she asked. My father didn't answer. He just stared at the door, like he wanted to run. "How did you arrive at the fire scene so fast?" Daniel asked. Silence. "You live far away," Harper added. My father swallowed. "I was driving," he said. "At 2 a.m.?" she asked. No answer. I spoke. "Why did you text Caleb that night?" I asked. He looked at me. His eyes changed. Then he moved. Fast. Toward the door. He tried to leave. That was the moment I knew. He was guilty. Harper blocked the door. "You need to stay," she said. My mother looked scared. "Gerald, what's going on?" He didn't answer. Daniel showed more evidence. Burn patterns. Accelerant. Receipts. Texts. Each piece closed the trap. My mother began to cry. "What does this mean?" she asked. "It means the fire was set," Harper said. My father stayed silent. That silence said everything. They explained the plan. Kill Caleb. Make it look like an accident. Pressure me to sign away the money. Control everything. My body went cold. "You tried to kill me too," I said. They nodded. If I had gone home that night, I would have died. My mother stared at my father. "You did this," she whispered. He said nothing. That was his answer. "Gerald Blake," Harper said. "You are under arrest." The words echoed. They placed him in handcuffs. He looked at me. "You're doing this to me?" he asked. I held Noah close. "You killed my husband," I said. "You're not my father." He broke. And for the first time, I felt nothing. If this story is hitting you, like the video and subscribe. There's more to come. My father stood still as the handcuffs clicked around his wrists. For a second, he looked smaller, like all the power he once held had drained out of him. The man who used to control everything now had no control at all. My mother stared at him like she didn't know who he was anymore. You said it was an accident, she whispered.
He didn't respond.
Detective Harper began reading his rights. Each word sounded heavy in the room. My father's eyes moved between all of us, searching for something. Maybe a way out, maybe sympathy. He found neither. Naomi, he said quietly. I was trying to help you. I didn't answer, because nothing he said mattered anymore. They led him toward the door. People had already gathered outside. Nurses, visitors, phones out, watching, recording. The truth was no longer hidden. The hallway buzzed as my father was taken away.
I didn't look at him again.
I didn't want to remember him that way or any way. When the door closed, silence filled the room. My mother sat down slowly. Her hands were shaking. I didn't know, she said, barely above a whisper. I swear, Naomi, I didn't know. I believed she didn't know about the fire. But I also remembered everything else. You told me to leave, I said. She looked up, tears running down her face. You saw me with my baby. You didn't ask if I was okay. I thought, she started.
You thought I was a burden, I said.
She broke down completely. I'm sorry. I nodded slowly. I know, I said. But sorry wasn't enough. Detective Harper returned later to take my mother's statement. She agreed quickly.
Too quickly.
I'll tell you everything, she said. She looked at me again. I want to fix this. But I had already made my decision. You can't fix this, I said calmly. She flinched. Daniel stood by the window, giving us space but still watching carefully. My mother wiped her face. I'm still your mother, she said. I shook my head. You gave birth to me, I said. That's not the same thing. The room went quiet again. Some things can't be undone. And some relationships don't survive truth. If you've ever had to choose yourself over family, drop a comment. You're not alone. I was discharged 2 days later. 14 days in the hospital felt like a lifetime. I walked out holding Noah, weak but steady. Daniel helped carry my bag. Caleb's parents were waiting outside. Marcus and Evelyn. They stepped forward the moment they saw me. You're coming with us, Marcus said. No questions. No hesitation. Evelyn held Noah gently, tears in her eyes. He looks just like Caleb, she said. I almost broke then. Not from pain. From kindness. They had lost their son, but they still showed up for me. We drove to their hotel. They had already prepared a room for us. Everything we needed was there. For the first time in weeks, I felt safe. The charges were filed quickly. First-degree murder.
Arson.
Insurance fraud. Attempted murder. The case was strong. The evidence was clear. Messages. Receipts. Fire reports. My testimony. Everything pointed to one truth. My father planned it all. The news spread fast. People who knew him couldn't believe it. But the facts didn't lie. His lawyer reached out. He wanted to talk. I refused. There was nothing left to say. Meanwhile, my mother kept calling. Different numbers each time. I ignored them at first. But one night I answered. Naomi, she said, her voice shaking. Please talk to me. I stayed quiet. I left him, she continued. I'm helping the police. I want to make this right. You can't, I said. There was silence. I didn't know, she repeated. But you knew I needed you, I said.
She cried.
I was scared. I was alone, I replied. That ended the conversation. I hung up and blocked the number. Marcus sat beside me. He didn't say much. You did the right thing, he said quietly. Why does it still hurt? I asked. Because you loved them, he answered. That made sense. But it didn't make it easier. A month later, I moved to a new city. A small apartment. 1 bedroom. Just me and Noah. It was quiet. Simple. Safe. I started working remotely. The company understood my situation. They gave me time. Evelyn visited often. She helped with Noah, cooked meals, stayed overnight when I needed rest. Marcus called every few days. They never forced anything. They just showed up.
Consistently.
That's what real love looked like. I placed Caleb's photo on the wall near Noah's crib. I wanted him to grow up knowing his father, knowing he was loved. Life slowly began to feel different. Not easier, but steadier. Noah started smiling more, laughing sometimes. Those small moments helped me heal. One afternoon at the park, I realized I was smiling too.
Genuinely.
It surprised me. Evelyn noticed. "He would be proud of you," she said. I looked down at Noah. "I hope so," I replied. We sat quietly for a while. "Do you think you'll forgive them?" she asked gently. I thought about it. "I think forgiveness and trust are different," I said. She nodded. "You don't have to let them back in," she added. That mattered, because I already knew I wouldn't. The trial date was set for June. The prosecutor called me in. "We need your testimony," he said. I agreed. Not for revenge. For truth. For Caleb. For Noah. I reviewed everything again. The timeline. The messages. The documents. Every detail had to be clear. My mother sent another letter. This time, it came through my lawyer. I didn't open it. I burned it. Some doors don't need reopening. Months later, I stood in my apartment, holding Noah. He had grown stronger. So had I. Life wasn't what I planned, but it was still mine. I looked around the room. At the photos. At the quiet peace. I thought about everything I had lost. And everything I had gained. Family wasn't about blood. It was about who stayed. Who showed up. Who chose you. Marcus. Evelyn.
Noah.
That was my family now. If this story meant something to you, like, comment, and subscribe. It helps more people hear stories like this. Because sometimes, walking away isn't weakness. It's strength. And I would choose this life again. Every single time.